I bet I can cook my ribs faster than you can.
You ready? Let's go!
You ever been in one of those situations you're like, man, I gotta get home, I gotta get things ready, gotta get these ribs on the cooker, man, I don't know if I can get these done in time. Well, you know what, I got a perfect solution for you. If you've never done smoked ribs on a pit barrel, you don't know what you're missing. I haven't used this cooker in a while, but I'm going to do a little experiment today. Specifically, I'm going to see how long it actually takes to cook these ribs on the pit barrel, which isn't very long, comparatively speaking, to some of my other smokers. And we're going to get into this. We're going to see how much fun this can be, but more importantly, I'm really curious to see how fast this can be done, and more importantly, how they turn out. So let's get into it, and let's see how this goes. But first things first, when I'm setting up the pit barrel, at least in this case, I'm going to be doing this kind of semi-indirect. Basically, as you can see, I got my charcoal and wood on one side, basically 95% of my charcoal, prime 6 charcoal, along with some post oak, which I've actually never used before, for smoking spare ribs, so that'll be an interesting test. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing lit up. So a quick little tip that I like to use, besides the charcoal chimney, is I like to use these cubes typically, or any kind of starter things that you like to use, on top. And what that'll do is, obviously, as those burn down, they'll start to catch the charcoal underneath as well as the charcoal on top. So the process there is obviously getting the fire started quicker, faster, and you'll see this works. This will get this going, all the charcoal lined up together, and then I'll dump that down in there, and then we'll have a nice little fire building up for this cook. First things first, let's get these spare ribs out of the bag. These is actually for my friends at Fort Road. I really do like their spare ribs. I think it's a lot better than anything I get at a grocery, but that's just me. To each their own as far as that's concerned. Now, obviously, I'm not making necessarily competition ribs, but I do want to square these off a little bit. I want them to be as square as they possibly can be, just for the effect of the cook. So I'm going to go ahead, trim this down a little bit. Try to get them as square as I can. Again, I'm not trying to make competition ribs here. I'm just trying to make them look pretty. So, there we go. One of the things I always like to do too is like to try to cut off a little bit of this membrane. I don't think it's actually needed, so I'm going to trim a little bit of this off. Just don't, you know, just for me, I just don't like it, and I don't think it's necessary to have on there, quite frankly. And you know, fortunately, these ribs, there's not a whole lot there to cut off, so that's another good thing. All right, so next comes the trick, getting the membrane off. Let me know down in the comments down below what you use. I'd be curious to see what others do. I just like to go from the center. Oops, messed up a little bit. With a butter knife usually works for me. As you get to the center, you just kind of gently start to pull up, and as you're pulling up, you just pull away both sides. This one's kind of getting away from me a little bit, but this little thing that I didn't bring with me, the paper towels. So paper towels are the key for sure. Towel, gotta have that. These things are slippery otherwise. I don't know why I didn't think of a paper towel earlier. Guess I was in a hurry trying to get everything else set up. But as you can see, I'm getting these off of here. Basically getting that membrane. Use whatever barbecue season you like. I'm using Adam McKenzie's double smoke on these ribs. Just seems to work, and it has a good flavor. So use whichever barbecue seasoning you like to use on your ribs. But I'm going to use this one, and I think it's going to work out well. Now, what I typically like to do after I season my ribs, or quite frankly my chicken, I like to let this set in usually 25 minutes or so, just to let that sweat out, let that gain some color before I get this on the cooker, and that's what we'll do in this case as well. So let's go ahead, let this rest for a little bit, and let that color set in, and then we'll get cooking. Basically, I'm getting this set up because I'm going to actually be doing wings and ribs for this cook. I'm going to go ahead, get my rod into the cooker, move this over just a little bit. sure everything's even. I have the wings obviously on there. The ribs here on the rods. Let me pull back a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. So I have the ribs hanging from the rods, and basically going semi-indirect. So it should be a fun cook. Definitely looking forward to seeing how this turns out. And like I said, I'm going to actually do a timer too, just to see how long it actually takes. So here we go. Basically, you will see how I got these ribs with the little hangers. One's going the other direction, one's going the opposite way. Try to keep this a little bit away from the fire. Like I said, it's kind of like an indirect cook. It'll still cook fast. Don't worry, these ribs get done relatively quickly. And as you will see, and I will show you real quick, you got basically the fire and the smoke rolling over there. So it won't take long. We'll get this back to the pit barrel. So we're going to go ahead, start our stopwatch. We're going to see how long it actually takes to cook these ribs start to finish on the pit barrel. Getting close, as you can already see, as you can see right there, look, 43 minutes 4 seconds. So let's see how we're doing on the ribs. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Yeah, we're already at the 165 164 mark. Wow, 166 168. Holy cow. Honestly, I never thought it would take this quick, but hey, as you can see again, 43 minutes. Let's keep rolling. Let's get these things to the next level and see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and get these wings wrapped. Get these wings off of here, and then I'm probably gonna go ahead and continue to let the ribs hang. Honestly, till we get to around the 203, 204 wrap. I'm not gonna wrap these this time. I'm just gonna let them run. So see how it goes. Coming along nicely on these smoked spare ribs. Well, a little bit more to go. Should be a good one. As you can see, the color looks fantastic on them, so stay tuned for that. First things first, I'm using an apple brandy barbecue sauce just to sauce these up with. Should be pretty good. I've used it before. Definitely works. And like I said, should add some nice flavor to these ribs. Yeah, basically getting that glaze on there. Gonna let it adhere. Flip these bad boys over. And then of course coat again on this side just to get these nice and coated. I'm just gonna let this, get this cooked on here, and then we'll start slicing. We got these ribs ready to roll. Gonna go ahead and start slicing these bad boys. As you can see, they are definitely pork tender. Doesn't take much to cut these down, as you can see, which is nice. Look at that. Cuts like butter. Ooh. Even though if they've rested for a little bit, they're still hot. I'm going to make a plate of these. Man, I tell you what, these things look ridiculous. Check this out. It's a beautiful smoke ring, still juicy on the inside. Definitely a favorable cook in a short period. These ribs are excellent, and again, only cooked for nearly an hour and a half. Again, if you're in a situation you need to cook some fast ribs, I'm telling you what, pit barrel is the way to go. It not only cooks ribs, but it also cooks wings and several other things really fast, really quick. One thing is you got to be careful when you're watching these things, because it's unlike anything you've ever cooked on before. My Kamado does not cook that fast, and neither does some of my other grills. This pit barrel, it always comes through quick, clean, and fast. My only con to the quick pit barrel, quite frankly, is the fact that you can't really shut it off
There's no like shut-off valve like there is with the Kamados, where you can basically shut it down, complete the oxygen from coming. That is the only thing that I'm not a fan of. But other than that, these things get things done quickly as far as food, flavor, and again, it was efficient. And again, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Obviously hit that subscribe button if you like what you've seen today, and of course keep coming because there's a lot more content coming. Until then, good cooking.